Hey folks, hey, welcome back my friends. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for liking and watching. If you can, please subscribe. That'd be great. Well, my friends, I originally bought this set in 2011. Paid $90 for it, went halves on it. A friend of mine got the Space Marines. I have the orkz. Actually, I should say that I have the orkz. So, folks, now, when I was talking in my previous video, I was remarking on how I couldn't find the arms for these for this unit of boys. Now these are the guys that came in the Black Reach set, my friend. And the thing about these guys is basically they came in a solid pose, and then hold on, let me grab. I have a painted one, and then their arms just kind of come right off. I got to glue them on still. See, it just comes right off, and there's like a little peg, okay? So, when I was painting the first batch, I don't know, for some reason I had the arms taken off. I was painting these guys, and I can't find the arms. In fact, I was in my storage locker for like an hour going through all my game tubs, trying to find them, and to no avail, couldn't find the arms. It's also the same thing for my war boss. This is the war boss that came in the Black Reach set right here. And it's the same deal, my friend. I can't find his arm. He's actually holding a combi weapon, So, now, it's the same thing for these guys. These guys are the heavy weapons dudes. But, again, their arms are in that same little batch I can't find. So I actually have, how many of these guys do I have? Okay, hold on. There's one. So yeah. There's 2 heavy weapons. There's 3 heavy weapons. So, but that's okay because I got some other guys in here. So I have more. It's not a problem. Okay, well how come that guy doesn't want to stay? There he is. Okay, there should be one more. Okay. So here's the deal, my friends. So I got, how many of these guys do I have? Okay, there's 5. There's 10. Okay, there's 15. And there's 20. 22, my friends. So actually a little larger than a unit. Okay. So, take it back. So I got 21. 21 guys, friends. So basically a unit and some extra dudes. Now, I have these bag of bits, my friend. So this bag of just spare parts and everything here. So I was picking a lot of this stuff up at the various game stores back when I was active in fantasy. When I wanted to start playing 40K, I was into bits. So this is just basically just parts, torsos, arms, legs, just parts and parts and parts. When I was starting to play, when I wanted to get into 40K, what I was doing was going on eBay and just buying the gun arms. So mostly what I did is, not on these guys, but my other models, I was taking my fantasy orks, breaking off the arms, and putting on 40K arms. So I have 100 boys right here. So there's 100 boys. And so yeah, so basically I just have a lot of spare parts. Now I have some spare parts from the knob set, and I was hoping I'd be able to do an arm switch on the war boss, but the knob arms are still too small. I mean, I don't know what to do about this situation, because I only have 3 war boss models. I don't have time to build another guy, so I don't know. I'll figure something out. Maybe I'll just have to put a knob arm on there and just temporarily and then break it off when I find the real arm. I don't know. But I'll make it work because this is starting up soon. Oh yeah, so basically I have 21 pistol arms. So, and then these guys are off the set where, in the older sets you had the torso, you had the legs, and then you just glued the arms and the head on. Unlike the newer models, which are all kind of like, weird. Hand sculpted, designed with the computer, big difference. So yeah, so what we're going to do today, my friends, is we're going to glue these arms on, and I'm not going to paint them tonight because I don't want to have the arms break off. Um, um, I'm not sure if the Escalation League starts this Monday, which will be tomorrow, or next Monday. I got to check the Discord. But these guys pretty much are pretty close to being done. They just need some silver. They need a little here and there. But, they're about, I don't know, 75% done. Okay, so what we're going to do, my friends, this is a very sharp X-Acto. You got to be very careful. Hold on. I got a dusting brush. Let me grab that. So I have a brush just for dusting my models. I don't paint with it. And I used to work at Michael's craft store, so I use a lot of like fine art paintbrushes. Real sable hair for my fine work. Now for my dry brushing, I have synthetic brushes, okay? But for my overall, I'm a firm believer in using real hair brushes. They cost you a lot more money, but God, if you take care of them, they'll last a long time. Like for example, some of these paintbrushes I've had for, they're like 12 or 14 years old, okay? So basically this guy is this is just a brush that I use to dust off the models, because these bad boys are dusty, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to take an X-Acto, we're going to cut that little peg off, and then we'll glue the arms on. Now a lot of these models still need some work on them. Now for my 500 points, friends, I'm bringing in 46 models, okay? I'm bringing in 2 units of boys, one with the rocket launcher and one with the big shooter, okay? So the unit that has the shooters has the rocket launcher because it has the longer range, okay? And then my sluggas, the pistol guys, they're going to have the big shooter in their unit. Yeah, these guys have been in the storage for a while. I started painting these ages ago. In fact, the paint, I'm going like a desert tan kind of look. Black boots, black vest, tan pants, some red accents. I'm not really any kind of a clan color, just something I thought would look cool. Now the tan I had was dried out, so I did get a close enough match. It's not going to be perfect, but that'll be okay. So I'm going for the green tide. So my list, my friends, I have to write up a 2,000 point list, and I think I have, oh God, I think I'm at like 1845 or something like that, or I'm almost, or I actually, I think, wait, oh yeah. So yeah, I'm done with 5 points to spare. So I'm bringing a lot of infantry, okay? So I got a truck, I got 1 truck, and then I'm bringing in a unit of looters, a unit of burners, a unit of death copters, a unit of storm boys, and then like the beast riders, and then the beast boys, and then I think like 5 units of regular boys, and then I think you have 2 units of knobs. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of painting, my friend. I'm going to have a lot of guys. I'm going to have 100 just regular infantry guys, because I'm going for that green tide, Now, I've only played 1 game of 40K, my friends, and it didn't fare too well for me. It was supposed to be a teaching experience, and all I was taught was how to lose. But that's okay. I'll learn in the new store. I went to 1 painting night, and it was very nice. I can't wait to go again. It's going to be a regular part of my routine since I'm off Thursday nights and I don't stream, on that night. So yeah, it was fun. It was very inspiring to be in a room with people working on their models. Okay, so there we go, friends. Got these guys all dusted off, and then I like to use the Gorilla Glue I used to use this Gorilla Glue with rubber in it, but they don't make it anymore, you know, which is a shame because they work great on metal models, okay? Now I have these nice little clippers, but for what I'm going to do, the X-Acto would be more than sufficient. I don't know. Will this work? This might be faster. Hold on. Oh, heck yeah. We're going to use the clippers, my friend. That'd be faster. Faster and safer. Now, I got 21 arms, so I basically took my X-Acto knife, I cleaned the seams, I cleaned them up. Not like perfect, but enough, you know. Okay, so let's start getting these guys cut off. And then we'll get all 21 arms glued on, and then I'm not going to paint them tonight because I don't want to knock off the arm before the glue is dry. So we'll let the glue sit overnight. But yeah, I'm so excited, my friends, about this. Now with this escalation league, it's all about. Pardon me. It's all about. I should take a drink. Allergies have been killing me. Basically, my friends, it's all about painting and building. So that's what it is. If you get any games in, it's like bonus points. Now, I do hope to get a couple of games in because I've been wanting to learn 40K since 2011, okay? I bought the set. Now, the thing about Santa Fe, New Mexico is, my friends, is we're a small little city, and it was hard for game stores to thrive. I've seen a lot of games. I've seen, not a lot, I've seen maybe 2 game stores, 3 game stores open and close. And so, but right now, it's like a golden age of game stores for us because we have one in the mall. We have one, you know, basically we have some board game ones. We got about 4 game stores, okay? And 2 of them are strictly like cards where you can buy some board games. One's a board game cafe. That's Sorcery and Might. That's my friend Adrian's. He's a co-owner of that store. I used to work with him at Walmart. And then we have WizKids at the Santa Fe Place Mall. Hi Craig, how you doing? I'll have their link in the description in the details, my friend. But yeah, I'm so happy about this. Now, I'm also going to be rekindling my old world. So I just saw that I guess the Wood Elves are out, which is awesome because I got a bunch of Wood Elf models. I got a lot of Warhammer, my friend. So let me take a drink and let me tell you the story really quick. So when 8th edition ended and when GW blew up the world, the group I belonged in, which was a fine group of gentlemen who were playing, you know, you see, I started playing Warhammer late, okay? When I started playing Warhammer in 6th edition, I was already in my 30s, okay? Like mid-30s, all right? And I was taking care of my niece and nephew, and what it was is I was already playing Hero Quest, Warhammer Quest. I already knew about GW Games. I just never knew about Warhammer. My best friend Jessie, she's been working in game stores forever. She told me about Warhammer and sent me some little things in the mail to get me started, which was the Undead. And I was hoping to get my niece and nephew into it, but they were just too enamored with video games. Nothing wrong with that because I play video games too. Long story short, here I am, 2025, and I still love this hobby. It's been hit or miss, my friends. I played and I stopped. I played and I stopped. You know, most of my games used to be at private homes. We wouldn't play in the game store very often because we like to drink. Well, not myself personally, but my friends did. And then, but yeah, I just miss it. I'm so glad they brought the old world back. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's how I skipped back. I'm all meandering. So basically, my friends, I have a dwarf army. Okay, I have basically metal slayers. I have 2 dwarf armies. So what happened was, my friends, when the game blew up and it ended, I picked up a lot of stuff for either dirt cheap or free. Okay, yeah. Now I got an orc army for free, and that's still wrapped up in plastic. It's still in the case I got from my friend. It's been wrapped up since the end of 8th edition. You know, so I had it at my outside shed. I looked at the outside wrapper. It didn't look like it was messed with, so fortunately there's nothing. I'll open that in a video. But yeah. And then I got Wood Elf army because again, super cheap, my friends, because people's hearts are broken. And I picked up the pieces. Now, If my friends would have shown interest and said, hey, Ern, sell me back that army, I would have done it in a heartbeat. In fact, I had extra money at the time because I was a manager. I was making okay money, not like Warhammer money, but I made it work. But yeah, but it was sad, my friends. It was very sad to see. Oh gosh, should I paint these guys? I'm not gonna worry about painting them first. I'm just gonna glue them on, okay? So I am gonna need the X-Acto knife because what we need to do is we need to scratch off a little bit of that. It's still a little uneven. So we're just going to give it a quick. That's perfect. There we go. And this scratch off just a tiny bit there. So the glue can get into the plastic. But yeah, it was sad. It was sad. And then Age of Sigmar came along. I tried to play Age of Sigmar. I actually liked it. It was actually kind of fun. But at the time, there was no player base for it. Now there's people playing it. But I'm primarily interested in the old world. It's funny, here I'm putting 40k guys again. I'm talking about old world. But yeah. Because I got a lot of that, my friends. I got, I have enough. I got like a vampire count's army, and I have a green skin army, and then I have a night goblin army. Those three armies were my, oh geez, this is all clogged. I don't want to make a mess. I was just gluing stuff with this the other day, so I know the glue is okay. Hold on. I hope it's not too old. Bummer, friends. There it goes, there it goes. There it is. It's okay. It's just near the end. Yeah. But, I've always loved playing board games, miniatures and stuff. This is going to look good, my friends. Now, fortunately for me, these models were from the same time period, so these arms totally match up really well in the scale. Oh dang it. Oh, there it is. I got to not push so hard. Oop, I might have to put a little more glue on that. But yeah. Now the great part about this is since I'm going orkz in 40k, man, I am not getting no paint out of this thing. This glue's not that old. It's only from last year because I was building a lot of models. There it goes. Let's try it again, friends. There we are. Now let's go ahead and give that a little tilt. Give them some character. Oh, dude, this is not sticking. There we are. There it goes. Now I should move it down a little bit, like this. Hold on. That looks, there you go. Since he has his chopper up, we'll put the Slugga facing down. Okay, there we go, not bad. One down, 20 to go, my friends. Now this will go good. What I should be doing is I should be doing this, putting the glue down for a second. What I'll do is I'll get a couple of these guys cleaned up. We'll give the glue a chance to flow down. That's what I should have been doing anyways. Assembly line. When you work on orkz or greenskins, man, you gotta do the assembly line. Now, I'm so excited. Now, what's so funny is, my friends, is I'm gonna have to build almost every orc model I own to to write a 2,000 point list. But I can't wait. I can't wait. I'll be sharing my progress with you guys. Okay, yeah, see. There it is. That's better. Now, I wouldn't recommend scraping or handling the X-Acto knife unless you're really sure. Now, my friends, I used to be a professional picture framer for like 28 years. I used to be able to free cut ovals and shapes with an X-Acto knife. So I've been using an X-Acto knife for most of my adult life. You know, you see how I'm kind of holding it? You know, so where I'm just kind of scraping with it. I'm not really cutting. Okay. But yeah, friends. Now, I always love playing the game part of it, but I do enjoy the model building the most because I'm 61 years old, my friends, and I grew up in the age of models, you know. Car models, monster models, tank models, you know. So this is right up my alley. I just love putting this stuff together. Now, I'm not going to lie, you know, my vision's not the greatest like it used to be because, you know, I'm 61 years old. Now, I do have a really nice magnifying glass. Let me show that to you. Now, this is made by the Otlite company, and this has a weighted base, and it's a really nice magnifying glass, my friend. It's very nice. It has 2 lenses, so it's really nice for cleanup work. Now, the thing that I found is if I paint with this, then what happens is, my friends, is I get too crazy on the details, because with this magnifying glass, you can see everything, okay? And the thing about it is when you see these guys on the table, you don't really notice all those details. And so I'm going to do that with the characters and the knobs. Since they're bigger, I'll put a little more care. But for these guys, my troops, it's all about battle ready, okay? So basically, I'm doing colors and then a wash, okay, to bring out the shadows. And that's what that's how I'll get my 100 boys painted. So I have the Stompa Boy box, and then I have the Beast Boy Combat Patrol box, and then I have and then some various stuff I have, you know, that I bought from the past. Yeah, this magnifying glass makes it a lot easier, my friends. Yeah, see, I can see why I had trouble on that first one. I probably didn't have it flat all the way. But yeah, you're only as good as your tools, my friend. So there we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So hopefully these guys will glue on a little faster. How long have you been on for? 23 minutes. Wow. Time flies and you're having fun. So like I said, tonight's goal is just to get the arms glued on, and then I'll hit these guys with some paint tomorrow. It's already like 9:30. I usually get up around 5:30 in the morning. So I don't want to be working too late. Usually at this time of night, I'm playing video games. I play a lot of video games. You know, right now I'm playing Red Dead Online. I got some other games I want to try. That looks pretty good. Okay, good. This is a lot flatter. How's this guy looking? Yeah, that looks good. That's going to be nice. Okay, I got one more guy to clean up, and then we'll start gluing. Perfect. There we go. I keep this cover. I already have a scratch on this, but it's not like really bad. I try to keep the cover on. What I like about this is it's pretty heavy. It's a nice weighted bottom, and it won't tip over. I've had this thing, oh God, I've had this thing for over 20 years. Okay, so we're done with our X-Acto knife. We're going to put this to the side. And we probably should give these guys another brush. They'll probably be alright. Just to be safe. Just to get any junk off. That way, you know. Okay, that's looking good, folks. You know, that's looking good. Alright. But yeah. So I guess I'll just basically just finish these guys up. So I'm just hitting everything with the basic silver. And then I got the nun oil. I'll hit it with the nun oil. Add a little shadow. I have another yeah, that's gonna look good. There we go. Yeah, see this one's sticking a lot. Yeah, this one's sticking better. So I'm really thinking that was my problem. The first time was I must have had, it wasn't even, because that guy just sat on the first time. Bam, he's on. So that's I think that was my problem. Now on these guys, I'm gonna have all the guns either pointing forward or pointing kind of downward, because they all have like raised weapons, you know. The raised choppers. Yeah, that's gonna look nice. Gonna be fun. I can't wait to play. And I know it's gonna be different than the fantasy, because it's not rank and flank, you know, so it's skirmish. It's a whole different ball game, you know. That's what really killed me in my first game that I tried to play a Warhammer, you know, 40K, is I tried to play it like fantasy. And, you know, and it's a whole different animal. Now, I did play Age of Sigmar a couple of times, so I think this will be a little easier for me to grasp, because I've already played a couple of skirmish games. I wouldn't mind playing some Age of Sigmar. Now, I did go halves on a set a few years back. In the first edition of Age of Sigmar, it was that Skaven versus the ghouls. I forgot that they call them a different name in the Age of Sigmar. Yeah, that's gonna look good. But I bought that set to use mostly for my fantasy at the time, because I was still playing a couple of. I still had a couple of fantasy games going on after the world blew up, but it was mostly between me and my best friend Jesse. Once GW stopped supporting 8th edition fantasy, that was enough for my game group to, well, not my game group, the game group I belonged to. You know, I did not organize it, I was just a member. Ooh, come on, dude. There it is. I'm going to have to buy some more glue tomorrow. I think this is going to be the last gasp for this container. It's okay for now because I'm just gluing the arms on, but if I was doing more intricate gluing, that'd be a drag. This is going to be nice. Oops, see, that's not enough. Yeah, I definitely need to buy some more glue. Let me get a little chance to run. Oh, dude, this is not working out. There it is. Yeah, this is almost done. You can see how it's all stringy? Yeah. I got some more super glue. I should go get it. We shouldn't build with this old stuff if it's going to be a problem. Okay, we're almost there. There it goes. I'm trying to move the gun down just a little bit so it's has a nice little tilt to it. And the arms match up pretty good in scale. Thank goodness they're from the same time period. Because it would have been a shame to not be able to use these 21 boys, you know. It would have been a shame. I'm going to try to squeeze some more out. Even though I said I'm not going to use it, here I am trying to squeeze it out again. Just because I'm on a roll. I know if I go and get the glue, then I'm going to say, oh my gosh, it's late, I should stop. Nah, I need to go get glue. Hold on. Yep, give me a second, friends. We're going to put this on pause. Hold on. I'll be right back, friends. I'll be right back, okay? Actually, you know what? I'll just leave this running, and I'll just edit the part out instead of stopping and starting again. So I'm going to go throw this in the trash right now so I don't waste my time. Hey, my friends, I'm back. So this is brand new. Now I got to be really careful to make sure I don't drip a lot now because it's going to be very wet. All right. Now on this guy, you have to squeeze the little side panels to get some glue out. Boom, there it goes. Nice. So we should have an easier time with this guy. See, that's a little too much glue. There we go, get some of that off. Yeah, that's gonna work now. There we go, now we're cooking with gas. Should use my magnifying glass. It'll make it easier for me to place this stuff. That way, I know it lines up. Okay, am I getting some glare? Of course I am. That's better. There it goes. Yeah, that looks good. So that's bonding really tight now. Okay, I just got to be very careful on how much I put on there now. So just a dab. Well, see, look, there you go, look. There it is. Yeah. So the nice thing is these guys are wearing like tank tops, so they're bare arm, so it's gonna make it easy to paint. You know, I just got hit with some green. Now it's not gonna be the same green, but it'll be close enough. Okay, we should probably put that one at a little bit of a slant. Oh yeah, that's sticking really good. There it is, right like that. There you go. Got a little bit of wiggle room. Yeah, that's going to look good. That's going to look really good. Now, I barely had enough pistol arms because I had more of the other arm. So this is them holding the pistol with their left hand, and in my bits, I mostly had right hand. So thank goodness I had enough. If I didn't have enough, then I was going to have to find which models I can cut the axe arm off, and then, you know, and then have to do two arm switch. But thank goodness I had enough bits. Yes, that looks good. That's going to be nice. Still going to wait till tomorrow to paint them. Tomorrow is my Friday. I work 4 days a week, so I'll get some good quality hobby time in. So I'm making it a point, my friends, to get at least one good night of painting in. But since I'm joining, you know, and that's at Thursdays at the painting and at the game store when I'm painting. So on my first painting night, I basically worked on 45 models. Okay. All I did that night was hit all the silver. So everything that was metallic got the metallic finish. Oh, that's going to look really good. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the games. Now, usually when I'm building models, I usually have music on in the background. You know, I don't really watch videos. I try to put on something I can listen to, okay? So that way, you know, kind of gives me, I can focus, you know. Oh, that's going to look so nice. Thank goodness these guys were from the same time period, because they would have been ashamed to waste these boys. Now, like I mentioned in the previous video, I bought a lot of stuff on eBay. I bought a lot of these boys, because I think you got like, what, like 10 initially? You didn't get a lot in the set. I think you got like, yeah. And so I bought a bunch, you know, because they were pretty cheap. Now, I bought a whole bunch of knobs before I knew the rules of knobs. I got like 60 knobs, okay? I only have 10 in this box. I have another box of 40K stuff, and it's in the 6th edition orc box. And I couldn't find it. I thought I had it packed in the game tubs. I do have another 2 boxes, like cardboard boxes, that have more Warhammer stuff, like Warhammer Fantasy. So I'm guessing I must have packed that in there by accident. And we should pay attention to how I'm placing this arm. There we go, that looks good like that. I like to make each little guy's arm just a little different. Just subtle, you know. I gotta make a couple more pointing up now. I got some, yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm saying that now until I start losing games. Now, the thing about me, my friends, is I'm a good loser. Because in fantasy, I didn't win a lot of games, okay? But that wasn't the point. The point was, it was all about hanging out with my bros, kicking back some brews, you know, not me, but my friends. And then, you know, I had other stress relievers. And then, yeah, it's all about hanging out and pushing our troops around, laughing, fun, you know, talking about our war stories, you know. I remember the first time I won a game, I was playing against my friend Eamon, and he had chaos. So he used to bring a dragon and a giant every game. It was brutal. And I was playing vampire accounts. I had ghouls, you know, and so basically my ghouls took out the giant. I won. It was awesome. Thank God there was other friends watching. Now, when I first started playing, I wasn't very good. So I used to lose a lot. But, you know, that means I got a lot of games because that was an easy victory and I learned, okay? Every time I lost, it was a lesson learned, my friends. And I took notes. And I basically, well, not like notes, mental notes. And I started like watching how my friends played. Because we all have a distinct style, you know. Now, my funnest game I played in fantasy, I'm trying to see if I have any pictures on my computer. I had it posted up on Facebook, but we're talking like, this was like, I think, 7th edition. And me and my best friend Jesse, we played a 10,000 point game. It was Lizardmen against vampire counts. Oh God, it was, and what's nice was I had a big kitchen table, and we were able to leave the game up over a period of like 2 weeks, and we played like, you know, a couple times a week, and it was so fun. I played 2 10,000 point games. Our second 10,000 point game was 2-player matches, whereas myself and Jesse against Eamon and Bryce. Now, I used to play really magic heavy. Now, this is back in the day when your magic dice was determined by how many wizards you had in your army. Now, since I had vampire counts, every character pretty much was a spellcaster, you know. So I used to have more dispel dice than my opponent had casting dice. Now my favorite thing to do was to raise zombies, okay? Now what I would do, my friends, is I would raise a unit of zombies behind you, okay? Now what the deal was, is if you broke and you ran into my unit, your unit was destroyed. So basically, I would come at, now my favorite unit was I used to have a unit of 50 skeletons with hand weapons, and then and a vampire in the front, you know, and not my general, but like one of my characters, and that was a killing machine, my friend. So I would basically be engaging you in combat, and then I would raise the unit of zombies behind you. I would cause your unit to break, and then bam, you would be destroyed. So once I would raise a unit of zombies, you know, my opponent had to basically deal with it. You know, it was a great way of making them deal with things they didn't have to deal with before. You know, so I would my first round, you know, I would have one spellcaster raise the unit of zombies, so other spellcasters growing that unit. So you know, you would have a unit of 20 zombies behind you, bam, like in one round, and that would be enough to make you be destroyed. Or I would use zombies to redirect your troops. You know, if your troops had frenzy, then I would raise, you know, a unit of zombies, you know, in your line of sight. And since you had frenzy, you had to run after those guys. You know, God, I loved playing fantasy. It was so fun. But you know, I can get that back now because it's coming back. You wait long enough, everything comes back. Yeah, see, this is looking good. And since, look how fast I'm doing it now, since I got the proper glue, you know. God, that glue is probably older than a year. Who knows how old that glue was. Yeah, but this is working really good. I have a bunch of metal models for Warhammer we're going to be putting together, but those are going to be a little more labor intensive. Whoops. Than these guys are. I'll have to do some drilling and pinning. Normally I glue the models together in one swipe and then I prime. Now I've seen people who can paint on the sprue and put it together and it looks awesome. More power to you. I was never able to do that. I'm too messy. Well, this is going to be so fun. I can't wait to paint these guys. So my army is called the High Desert Boyz because I live in the high desert. Santa Fe, New Mexico is 7,000 feet above sea level, my friends. So I'm the High Desert Boyz, you know. I'm not going to put the Stompa on my list because I'm still pretty new and I just want to practice with the infantry, and plus I always envision myself with the green tide. Now I do want to get the Morkanaut and the Gorkanaut models, because I'm just a sucker for big robots. Now I do have some killer cans. I do have a Death Dread. Oh, these I can't wait to paint these. Because basically, right now, I'm hitting them all with the base coat, then I'll hit them with the wash, and then I'll hit them with a highlighted dry brush on the raised spots. And then when I paint my models, I kind of basically paint the highlights from the shoulders down, because that's how you look at your models, you know. That's something I used to do with Warhammer all the time, you know, is to highlight the head and the shoulders, top of the arms, because you're looking at it from down, you know. You know, you're not looking at your models from the facing like this, you know. Yeah, this will be a lot of fun. I'm going to lose a lot of games. But it's okay, because my best friend Jesse always used to say that you have to lose 100 games before you can really master it, you know. And you know, like I said, I don't get all mad. I don't get all bent out of shape. You know, even when I got curb stomped that day, I was flabbergasted and disappointed. I was hoping to learn something, but you know, I wasn't mad and bitter. You know, that's why I never played again. Just the game started to closing. And then also too is you know once GW's game, you know, once fantasy blew up, you know, even the 40K died down just for a tiny bit because there was a lot of ill will. And you can't blame them, my friends. You can't blame them. You know, this is a game they grew up playing as kids, and then, you know, who knows why they did it. But they got new management now. I think GW is better. I remember when GW had a catalog, man. I used to have a catalog, and then you had to call them on the phone to order bits. I got a catalog somewhere in a box. Once I find it, when I finally move and unpack, I'll show you the game catalog I used to get. You had to buy it, and it was pretty neat. It had black and white pictures in it as photographs, and it had all these parts you can buy because you used to be able to buy bits, my friend. You used to be able to go in the catalog and say, "Oh, here's this, this, and this for your little," because they used to encourage you to bit bash, you know, you know. But I can see why they stopped doing it because it was probably an inventory nightmare. Yeah, I remember. Oh God, I remember. Used to have like an 800 number. I remember one time we were playing a game, and we couldn't figure out a rule, so we called the 800 number, and we got a guy at the I don't know at the help desk, and he helped us with the ruling. You know, it was totally awesome. And then back in seventh edition, or was it eighth, when the plastic giant cake came out, I had a broken piece, so I called the 800 number, and the guy sent me a bit from his giant model. I still have the letter he sent. It was very nice of that gentleman. I've had, you know, I've had a lot of pleasant experiences with GW. Their games are expensive. I'm not gonna lie. It's not, you know. So I found ways to be budgeted. Okay, so now getting back to when GW exploded, when eighth edition blew up, I picked up a lot of models, my friend. Okay, locally. Now, whenever an army book changed in fantasy, you know, it always disrupted the power scale. Vampire counts used to be mega powerful when it came to magic, and we got nerfed, which was okay. When they nerfed the magic from 6th to 7th edition, I started going more combat, less magic, you know. But when they went from 6th to 7th edition, I got a lot of models dirt cheap on eBay because there was a lot of rage quitting. And I, you know, not I and then not, you know, the same thing. Not so much with the orcs because every orc book has been pretty good. But I know there was a big decrease in the power level from vampire counts from 6 to 7. You were able to bring bigger units, but your characters got nerfed magic-wise. Which they needed to do, because it was out of hand. And basically, I wasn't as diabolical as I could have been magic-wise. I tried to do more. I was more about, for me, my friends, I was always more about buffs. I've always been more of a fan of buffs than I have of spells that affect your opponent, you know. Or what I would do is I would cast a couple of buffs, you know, in the hopes that my opponent would try to dispel it, and then I would bring out my, you know, ooh, my left hook, you know, and bring in the damage causing spell. But mostly, you know, it was all about buffs. Like in the old world games with my night goblins, all about the buffs. Itchy nuisance, oh god, yeah, that's the spell right there, you know. But yeah, I think that's the way to go. Augment your existing troops, make them stronger, or if I did do anything to my opponent, It was to make them weaker, you know, like bring down their, you know, their armor, you know, bring, you know, their defenses, more than outright damage. Because your opponent is more likely to let that kind of a spell through than a damage spell through, you know, because they're trying to conserve their dice, their dispel. This last guy is not going on so great, but yeah, that's usually how it goes. I think I got too much glue on him. There it is. There it is. Yeah, this is going to look good. I'm hyping myself up. Not that I'm a master model builder, and you know, I believe in positive reinforcement, you know. And then too, you talk to your troops, you know. These guys play better when they're painted. You know, when you it's like you're putting your aura, your power into them. I know I'm getting all like metaphysical and stuff, but in a way, when you work on your models, you're putting that positive energy into them. So I have to give my guys a pep talk, you know. You know, tell them they're good, tell them they're gonna be awesome, you know. But overall, you know, you can be the best, you can have the best strategy, but it all comes down to dice. It all comes down to good rolls. I'm super excited about this. Boom, look at that. 53 minutes, and I'll probably be cutting out a couple of minutes, but not much. So that's pretty good, my friends. That's like one objective there. So now, I still have to hit some of these guys with the tan. And then, like I said, I got a dark green wash. And then I'll do the red, I'll do the red here on the top. I got to do the tan on these guys. I still have 3 more guys. I got to primer their entire body, but it was already getting dark when I primered the arms, so, you know, but it was okay for that because, you know, I'm just doing the arms, they're small, but if I'm doing the whole model, I got to be able to see good, you know, so that way I make sure I get the primer underneath, I don't have gray. I'm just going to drop those little nubbins in there. I'll clean them out later. I just don't want to get into the carpet. Well, not too bad, folks. So basically we got the arms primered, glued on, 21 guys. So now the thing about it is since I have 21 guys, I'm bringing in units of 20, but I'm only actually bringing in 18 boys. Because it's the 20, and then it's the heavy artillery item, and then a knob. Now I do have some other models here, so I have enough. So these extra guys will basically be a ragtag of, you know, of some the units. Because I figured out I'm gonna have basically, oh God, I'm gonna have 1 unit of Beast Boys. That's like 10 guys. And then I'm going to have 3 units of Sluggas, 2 units of Shooters. So I'm going to have like 110 boys. And then I'll have a unit of Gretchen, 2 units of Knobs. Or I might just bring 1 big one. I'm not sure what the rules are yet. I know I'm bringing in 2 unless the builder let me do it. And then I'm going to bring in like... like 2 units of I got Burning Boys and Looted Boys in the Storm box. I got a build still, so I think it's like a 5 of each. And then yeah, I'm gonna have a good sized force. All of it, mostly infantry. I will have 1 truck, so I'll probably put a unit of boys in the truck. You know, I'm looking forward to it, friends. Hey, we should probably call it a video. I'm going to have to go edit this tomorrow. It's already 10:02, my friends. I got to get up early. Hey, but thanks for spending this time with me. Thanks for liking and supporting my channel. You know, I know it's inspiring to see other people work on their models, and I'm hoping you guys get inspired to paint as well. I've been, you know, I was going to wait until I got into my new place before I mess with any of my Warhammer stuff, because, you know, I could be moving at any time. Whenever the house sells, I'm going to move. But then the house could have took months to sell, and these models have been sitting in boxes for a while. It's time to strike with the irons hot. You know, I'm never going to play if I don't start now. And then, you know, and so I was just going to make some videos of me painting so I get inspired. And I went to go buy some paint. That's when I found out about the Escalation League. So I bought some models, and, you know, and it's really going to be great. I think it's kind of like irony. It's like fate that I have to build everything I own 40K wise. On Fantasy, I have a lot more models. 40K, I got this small amount. And so I think it's fitting that I have to build everything I own and paint it. So by the time I'm done with this, I'll have a nice 2,000 point force. You know, I'm looking forward to it, friends. Okay, we should wrap this up. Hey, thanks. Thank you, my friends. And may your dice always roll sixes. The next time we see each other, I'll actually be painting these guys, okay? And so I still have to go through my bits and figure out what I'm going to do about that war boss. You know, I do have another war boss model. I could probably XP build it. But man, it's going to be hard, you know. Because this guy here, he's almost done. You know, he's almost done. All I really got to do is just paint his backpack and then, you know, start doing the highlights and washes, you know. I got to get a base for him too. I can't find the bases. I got bases for these other guys, so not him. I think he goes on a big base. I don't know. It's funky, my friends. I'll make it work. I could have worse problems. Okay, friends. Enough meandering. I better go. Hey, talk at you later. You guys have a wonderful night. And may your dice always roll sixes. Thanks, friends. Thanks again. Bye for now.